Well, it's a digital and real life nightmare for kids. Perverts preying on children on one of the most popular games out there.
Roblox is accused of grooming kids, including a 10-year-old girl who sent nude photos to a grown man. Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack is following the newly filed lawsuit in this case. Jessica.
Yeah, if you hadn't heard of Roblox, we'll tell you what it is. It's a gaming platform, one of the more popular ones out there for your tablet, your phone, even your computer, and it's designed for children. It's a gaming platform, but part of the process on what you can do there is you can message anybody that is on this app, and there's 380 million users worldwide, and it has been facing some lawsuits recently. In one recent case, a 10-year-old girl from Oakland County was groomed by a man in his 40s, and he was pretending to be another child on there. It all escalated, and the two sent each other nude photos, and he continued to push for more. Now, the Dolman law firm representing in this case says they're filing 2 to 3 lawsuits a week against Roblox, and in some cases, the communication between children and the predators on there has led it to rape cases, criminal cases. Now, a cybersecurity expert weighed in with some advice for parents. Easy is it to pretend to be a 12-year-old girl when you're a man in your 40s?
So given LLMs and ChatGPT and everything, it's not hard at all, would be my estimation.
And again, what would your advice be to parents if you could give them a few tips?
Just play games with your kids, like whatever they're interested in, also take an interest in that, spend some time with it, understand the technology, understand the language that they're using so that you can understand when there's a problem.
So we did talk to Roblox in the way of a statement. It said in part, Roblox has implemented rigorous safeguards, including restrictions on sharing personal information, links, and user-to-user image sharing, and prohibiting sexual conversations. We also partner with law enforcement and leading child safety organizations worldwide to combat the sexual exploitation of children. And in the recent months, as they face these lawsuits, they've tightened up their security measures to prevent things like this from happening. Now, in the case of the local girl from Oakland County, the 10-year-old we told you about, there is an ongoing criminal investigation there, but no charges have been filed quite yet. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself how rigorous those safeguards really are. If all of these cases have been popping up, is this a recent crackdown with the statement they gave you?
Yeah, it is. And these lawsuits recently popped up. You know how that goes. Once one settles for big money, a lot of other people jump onto that bandwagon. And that's what's happening. But it is forcing this company to rewrite some of their policy and procedure to protect these kids.
Yeah, and go old school and watch what your kids are doing on their phones as closely as you can, I guess, is another piece of advice. But you gave us some great perspective here tonight. Jessica Dupnack for us live. Thank you.
Roblox is a game creation and social platform that has over 100 million daily active users, including over 40 million users under 13 years old. The platform is currently facing legal action from several states accusing Roblox of not doing enough when it comes to our children's safety.
Roblox is a breeding ground for child predators to get on the platform, solicit information, locations, and ultimately abuse kids.
Underneath this cartoonish, innocent venue is something sinister. The platform has become a playground for predators who seek to harm our children.
So let's bring in the co-founder and the CEO of Roblox, Dave Baszucki. Dave, thank you so much for coming on.
Ainsley, thank you so much for having me on the program.
I know you've been under a lot of scrutiny lately. There are critics about your platform all over the internet. Parents are worried. What's your response when you hear that there are all these lawsuits from different states?
Well, I do want to highlight, as you said, every day over 100 million users have an enormously great experience on our platform. They learn STEM, they connect to their friends when they're sick, they get motivated to take computer science. And this is an enormous responsibility. I have 4 kids who grew up on Roblox off and on. We have thousands of employees. Safety is a top priority for us. But we really think there's an opportunity for parents to understand why Roblox is different. There are millions of young people out there who get handed a cell phone and have access to apps where they can share the images of themselves, where they can communicate freely we want parents to know Roblox is very, very different. We don't allow image sharing. We filter all text. We have policies against sharing really personal information. We monitor in real time for critical harms. And we work very closely with law enforcement so that when we do find bad actors, we together get them off the internet.
Yeah, Dave, some of the quotes in these lawsuits are pretty scathing. And I watched a video of a Meta whistleblower who was flagging Roblox and says Roblox coordinated with pedophile rings to set up strip clubs. There's another guy, Schlepp, I'm sure you're familiar with who this is, a former Roblox player who catches predators, and he says his stings have led to 6 different arrests. What's your response?
First off, we reject categorically some of the nomenclature that's been used as far as categorizing this. By many of these incidents, of course, are terrible, but I do want to highlight the vast majority of these things we hear about. The communication, the connection, the image sharing, the coordination is not happening on Roblox. It is happening on apps that young people who get handed a phone have access to. Many, many parents work closely with their youngsters and control what they have access to. We have designed Roblox, and we really have to think about parents who don't have the time or just give their youngster a phone. We are establishing what we believe will become the gold standard for safety and communication for all apps, which is knowing the age of every person on our platform. We're going to do this using AI on the selfie camera to estimate the age of everyone. And we're going to, in addition to filtering text on Roblox, control what and who can chat with who unless they happen to know each other in real life. So we think there's an opportunity here with these AGs across the country to work together on a gold standard for communication safety.
Yeah, Dave, what can parents do? Because I don't want my daughter sending your app her picture. I don't want her taking a selfie so that you can verify her age. I don't want that shared with anybody. What can parents do if they want to go through these filters and go through your app and make sure our children are safe?
Yeah, I want to highlight by default, given the huge responsibility, we've designed Roblox not for the parents who are working with their kids, but the reality that millions of parents hand their 10-year-old an iPhone. And we've designed Roblox that way. We're not waiting for Apple or Google to allow parents to set the age of their device. What I can tell parents is be thoughtful of the other apps your kids are using. On Roblox, if they're using Roblox, we do not allow the sharing of a selfie. We will, in a privacy safe way, use the camera just to verify age, but we'll never use that image in a way that can be shared.
Yeah, Dave, some of the people on our team said that they have been on it, their children were on it, and they were stalked by random men. What are you doing to prevent this?
Yeah, once again, I want to highlight, we filter all communication on our platform. And by the end of this year, we've committed to something on our own, ahead of law, ahead of waiting for device manufacturers, which is to know the age of everyone on our platform. So in addition to parental controls, so parents can already control who their youngster might communicate with, we will not be allowing any of that communication, even with filter text, even with no image sharing, between young people and, for example, adults, unless they happen to know each other and set up that connection.
Dave, what do you, with 111.8 million users every day, how do you police all of them? I'm sure the majority are good people, but how do you make sure these sick men that want to get control of women and or little girls and see naked pictures of them, how do you make sure that they are stopped? What are you doing? And do you notify authorities when someone's doing something illegal?
I think at a high level, once again, the opportunity of working with AGs is to solve the more holistic issue of young people can install all kinds of apps on their phone. Some, unlike Roblox, where you can share images. For us, we in the last year have shipped, which means released and added to Roblox, over 100 safety innovations. We design Roblox so that Really, we build safety in by default for the use of our app. And once again, in addition to our communication gold standard, where we'll know the age of everyone on our platform, for content as well, we have hundreds and if not thousands of people who respond to issues. We work closely with law enforcement. And behind the scenes over the last 4 years, we've become experts at using AI as well. We're using over 400 AI systems to filter every piece of text, to filter every piece of voice, to filter every image that's used to create a Roblox game. So together, we believe we can set the standard for safety on the internet.
All right, Dave, we thank you for doing this interview. A lot of people that are criticized, that are very successful, might say, I'm not talking about it. I'm making so much money. Who cares about the kids? Who cares about talking with the news about and informing parents? So why did you decide to do this?
Hey, we want to get the word out that, you know, we're a USA company. There's an awesome opportunity here for American innovation. And in addition to AI innovation, there's an awesome opportunity for American innovation in gaming. This is a huge responsibility, though, as a parent, to do this right and to do this safe. So we love talking about it. We love working with AGs, Congress, the Senate, whatever it takes to keep kids safe.
Yeah, please keep our children safe, Dave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Have you heard of the online video game Roblox? If you have children, the answer is likely yes. More than 75 million people play this game every day, and according to marketing research company Blacklinko, more than half of these players are actually under the age of 17. But a group of lawsuits allege that the company behind the online video game isn't doing enough to protect its users. And one of the lawsuits was filed by Chicago law firm Steiner, Gould, Greco, and Hensley in Polk County, Iowa. Now, it alleges the company provides, quote, a hunting ground for child sex predators. Joining us now is Mike Greco and Steve Vanderpoorten, attorneys at that firm. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. This is really disturbing because this is an extremely popular game. And as we said, majority of people are under 17. Tell us about the case you guys have. Your client was 13, and it was a 37-year-old predator that got to her. Maybe you can explain.
Thank you for having us, first and foremost, Sylvia, to talk about this very important issue. What happened to our client is every parent's worst nightmare. A 13-year-old girl playing a game that is designed for children was introduced and ultimately groomed by a 37-year-old predator. Their discussions led to this predator traveling from his home state in Tennessee, kidnapping our client, trafficking her back to Tennessee, and repeatedly abusing her. It is a horrific case. It's something that both Mike and I and the rest of our firm are intent on making sure never happens again.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. How could something like this happen? Are there not the proper protections for this game? What's going on here?
Well, Sylvia, our client downloaded the game in 2020, and that's when Roblox really saw its usership explode because so many children were home because of the pandemic. And in 2020, there were simply inadequate safeguards to protect against communications between adults and children. And as a result, our client was left completely vulnerable to any adult on the internet, and unfortunately was subjected to horrific abuse.
So from what you say, it was fairly easy early on before any boarding limits were put on this game. And this is one client, but there are more.
So we represent over 400 children that were sexually exploited at the hands of Roblox. And we know that just in 2023 alone, there were 13,000 reports of sexual exploitation. And just as you said on the outset, there are 32 million individuals under the age of 13 that are using this application. So we think that there are tens and tens of thousands of individuals dating back to the early days of Roblox that have been sexually exploited by the company.
Okay, so Roblox now says that it is doing something to make some changes, and they actually put out a statement addressing this because this has been brought up by multiple people, and it says, "We are deeply troubled by any incident that endangers our users, and safety is a top priority. We dedicate substantial resources, including advanced technology and 24/7 human moderation to help detect and prevent inappropriate content and behavior, including attempts to direct users off the platform where safety standards and moderation may be less stringent than ours." So parents who are watching this now, listening to the story you're talking about and the other potential people who might have been victims, what do you want to say to them? How can they make sure this doesn't happen to their children?
We don't think that the application, what you just read is, a statement in lawyer speak, but we don't think that the application is safe yet. That we know that there are some safeguards that they are trying to implement, but we don't think that it rises to the standard of care that prevents this from happening ever again to a child. So until there are 0 reports of child sexual exploitation that Roblox can safely report to the public, we think that children and all folks should stay off of the application.
So you're saying just stay off the application,
That's
period?
Right. Yes.
Okay, well, we are going to be following this case closely because it sounds like it's far from over. We do appreciate you coming in and discussing this with us. Really important topic. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.